Welcome into a live edition of the KCT Laboratory presented by Emprise, bank member FDIC, our tremendous, amazing, wonderful partners in Possible here at KC Sports Network. Very happy Monday to all of you. A very happy Monday to Maddie Lane. Matthew, hi.
Yo, welcome back, Kent. I'm glad you're back. For those, we pre-recorded last Monday's episode, so I hadn't seen Kent in over a week. I recorded an episode with Trevor Sikkema, and it was great because he uplifted me. He said complimentary things. He was nice to me. So I hadn't really gotten that treatment much. That was nice in a podcast. So actually, maybe I'm not happy you're back. Can we ship you off again?
Yeah, if you want to try to get Trevor in this chair, I totally understand. I don't know if we can afford Trevor every week or not. So there's that. But other than that.
Okay, that was time for me to jump back in. Sorry, we're rusty now. So yeah, here we are. We are starting up our positional deep dive. Before we do that, there's not big news necessarily, but some stuff has happened while we haven't really, talked about it or anything. So you weren't that online during this. The Jags decided that they are going to post June 1st cut Gabe Davis for a failed physical. Would you have any interest in the Chiefs bringing in one Gabriel Davis to play or attempt to play wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yes, 100%. That's your ex. I mean, he can go. He's big, physical. He can play outside. I mean, he's MVS in a younger man's body.
Yeah.
Drop issues and all. Let's do it.
Blocking and all, right?
Blocking and all too. What are we doing here? Yeah. Should have signed yesterday.
I've been a little surprised at the pushback that I think I have seen to even the idea, just being open to the idea that Gabe Davis could come in on probably not vet minimum, but a very incentive-laden contract and attempt to earn a roster spot or a starting role with the Chiefs based on when I look around their wide receiver room, what they have and don't have. I've been a little surprised at some of the pushback I'd gotten. So I just wondered which side of the coin you sat on, because he seems, if you were to add a receiver to this team, like a role of a wide receiver, he seems to fit exactly what the Chiefs are currently missing that they like to do. So I was just, I was curious as where you sat on that one.
I am currently looking up how many touchdowns Juju Smith-Schuster's had in his career in Kansas City, because Gabe Davis has 4 touchdowns in Arrowhead on his own in one game. So
okay, hold on. I might take Gabe Davis's touchdowns in Arrowhead to be higher than Juju's in Arrowhead as a Chief.
I think there's a chance. I don't know how many touchdowns Juju got 3 years ago. But I'm just thinking, how many touchdowns did Hollywood Brown get last year? None.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
no, I was just thinking of it because I think even if I remember some of Juju's big plays, I don't know if they were always at Arrowhead. They just feel like they weren't at Arrowhead even. So even if the total touchdown numbers are the same, anyway.
Juju's had 5 touchdowns in his Chiefs career.
Oh yeah. There's no chance that all 5 were at Arrowhead. There's just no chance. So yeah, I think that's
I don't know. What's the opportunity lost when you're signing Gabe Davis? I don't think you're the bar to clear for one of your
Sky Moore's roster spot. Shout out Tucker and 21 Questions. Everyone's tuning in to figure out what happens with Sky Moore's roster spot moving forward.
I mean, that's what we're talking about here. So I don't know why anybody would be upset with that. Elijah Badger doesn't make it.
Whoa, chill.
Yes. No. Give me Gabe Davis. Wood.
Other side.
What about Jadeveon Clowney, Matthew?
He makes less sense to me because while I don't necessarily love the Chiefs' defensive end room, I think it's crowded enough. I think they might actually have enough bodies there right now that you want to see what plays out. And Clowney, I don't think Clowney would be signing for as low as Gabe Davis is. I think that Clowney's probably still wanting a little bit of a payday. I don't think that Gabe Davis is expecting one coming off of the last season that he had and obviously being, failed for his health. I think Clowney would want some more money. So before the Gelati pick, and if, Felix hadn't shown a little bit of more promise of last year, I'd be more intrigued. And Ominiki wasn't back. But I think with Malik Herring coming back, Mike Dane is still around, FAU showing a little bit of improvement, you bring in Gelati, you also have Karlaftis. I think there's just enough bodies in that room to go around.
Okay. I depends on how much you're willing to give them. I do think that like they've definitely loaded up on a lot of guys that can potentially compete for it. And so, I just don't want them to get lulled into trying to figure out what they have and then not having anything, which I don't think will be the case. But I mean, if they keep 6 defensive ends, you're looking at Karlaftis, FAU, Dana, Amenahue, Gelati, or locks. And now you're talking, if they normally keep 6, you're talking Herring, Janarius Robinson, and Clowney.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I just don't think that Clowney's coming in for quite as cheap of a number to where it makes a ton of sense. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. One more thing, and then we're going to move on to this. We have, sorry to spoil our content, I guess, for later in the week. We got big schedule release news. Big. Did you know the Chiefs and the Broncos play each other this year?
What?
Yeah.
Where at though?
Ooh, that's a good question. Actually, they play in Kansas City.
Okay.
But they also play in Denver.
What?
Mind blown.
Wait,
but we
seriously?
do actually. Yeah, I know, right? But I'm going to save all that snark for the next show later in the week because I believe, as it always happens, we will be live during the schedule release time. Yay!
I did not know that.
Yay!
Tucker,
But
we guys can't see Tucker. We can see Tucker in the green room in the background. Y'all can't see him. He is smiling so big right now. He is so glad that he doesn't have to be the one that takes on this burden and responsibility.
You know what? Tucker might not even hate schedule release day. I don't know where Tucker's stance is on it. You don't dislike schedule release day. I don't know where Tucker's stance is on it, but I think everybody knows where I am. But we do have real news. The Chiefs are once again playing on Christmas. They are playing December 25th. They are playing against the Denver Broncos. It is a home game on Christmas in Kansas City. How are we feeling about that one, Kent?
I don't like it. I don't really enjoy, I don't really enjoy the Christmas game, being invested in that game. Sure. You're having to be around family trying to watch that game and all that kind of stuff. And
at least it's nighttime this time, right? At least it's not.
That makes it better.
Yeah. You know what? I don't mind it. Like, I get the pushback. I really do. And so I think it does take, like, if you want to be locked into the Chiefs football, because I don't know, maybe you podcast after the game about it, it does get a little bit in the way of doing family stuff. However, there seems to be some rumblings going on around the NFL world that Clark Hunt's kind of trying to make a push for the Chiefs to be the Christmas team, kind of like you have the Cowboys as a Thanksgiving team, kind of like how you have Detroit as a kind of Thanksgiving team. It seems like there might be a little bit of a push from Clark himself to make the Chiefs the Christmas team. And I respect it. I mean, you respect the hustle, right? You want to grow your brand, put them on the holidays. So,
you build a production company, you make Hallmark movies, and then you try to force your team on the Christmas Day games. That's the formula right there. And,
yeah, I mean,
employ Taylor Swift's boyfriend as well. But
hey, leaks are he's lost 25 pounds, being the best shape of his life going into his final season. So
I really hope that's true. I really hope that's true. I don't know. I'm not super excited about the prospects of the Chiefs playing every Christmas Day. I get trying to do it though. If you've got Patrick Mahomes, you've got him for the next decade, you might as well shoot your shot and say, look, for the next 10 years, Christmas is going to be associated with the team in red. Like, I get it, but I don't know, man. I don't want to do it every year. I'd rather.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm torn on it. Like, I'm okay with the Chiefs continuing to try to grow their brand. I really am. I mean, as a Chiefs fan, I'm okay with that, right? So I get it both ways. I get being frustrated by it. I think at least when it fell on like this Thursday, and it also gets to be Prime Vision, which is also a bonus. I think that kind of stuff is helpful to make it a little bit more appealing. Because let's be honest, whether it was the Chiefs or not, Thursday night, I'm probably going to have the game on at some point in time. So it might as well be the Chiefs at that point in time. I mean, I was going to call a spade a spade. The KCSN research department has come through in the clutch. Juju Smith-Schuster has a grand total of 1 career touchdowns at Arrowhead. Is this regular season and playoffs?
And is this including his time in Pittsburgh?
Yes. He had 1 touchdown against the Chiefs while playing in Pittsburgh, and it was in Pittsburgh.
It is time to move on.
Can't spell.
To the position rankings.
Wow. we're in a rare form.
That we do every single year. Get excited. We're going to go position by position and do a breakdown of every single position on this team. Normally it's like QB, running back, wide receiver, tight end. We just do this logical. We kind of mixed it up a little bit. I try to look at it a little bit differently because maybe there's a couple positions you could see the Chiefs making like a late add in. So we're gonna wait a little bit down the road. We're not kicking things off with quarterback because that's no fun. We're kind of mixing the order up a little bit here.
Ooh.
So we're gonna start with the running back room. But if you've been watching this show for the last couple of years, thank you, first off.
It's your favorite time right now if you have.
We do all these positional standings. We do this positional breakdown, and we rank it on a scale of Maddie Lane's choosing every single year. We've had the burger scale.
Team effort.
No, definitely not. We've had the burger scale. We've had the Italian food scale. Is that it?
Was that it?
Is that the only 2 years we've done?
Have we only done it for 2 years?
Tucker's
I feel like
smiling like yes.
I think it was pizza scale was in consideration. I don't think we did it yet.
Yeah, and that's a tricky one.
No, it's not.
Well, if you're doing KC, if you're trying to keep it a little bit local, like I think
they're all local.
Yeah. But anyways, we're not doing pizza this year. Maddie Lane, please reveal the position ranking scale for 2025.
Okay. Well, I read the comments. I see the tweets. I don't see the blue skies, but I'm sure they're out there. You guys don't like the food scales. I understand. Oh, some of you don't. Some do, some don't. There's a lot of people that don't like the scale. They get confused. They say it's difficult for people that aren't in Kansas City. They don't really follow along. They don't understand it. They don't necessarily like it. They say, just give us something straightforward and easy to understand. I get it. I understand what you guys are saying. So because I'm a man of the people, the food scales are out. We are done with the food scale. Can't
forever
wrap it up, throw it in the trash. Food scale is done. We're professionals. We're going to be straight. We're going to shoot it straight. It's time for the gas station scale. Food scale's out. We're ranking everything based on gas stations. And as always, we are sticking to local Kansas City gas stations as we go through all of this. So, disclaimer, that means Buc-ee's, as of right now, can't be added. Don't come at me. Don't make Tucker come at me. Buc-ee's is not included. Tucker just opened up, about to say something and then went away again. Okay. Now, gas station scale, firing it off the top. Should I start at the top or start at the bottom, Kent?
I think you should start worst gas station to best gas station.
Okay. The worst
one
gas
pump station to 4 pumps.
Okay, now hold on. I know you just came off vacation, but and so I'm gonna say the worst gas station. I'm not a fan of this gas station. It's not my favorite. They have this like silly nitrogen commercial ad campaign they tried to run in like the early 2000s. Get out of here with it. Shell. Not good. They took over a lot of bad gas stations. They're always dirty. Shell is the bottom tier. We need a replacement. They barely are serviceable. You drive by it every single time you can to get to another gas station. Shell, bottom tier. Up next, 7-Eleven. And I know this is a little controversial, but here's the thing. There's a little bit in the back. You got the slushies from back in the day. They were one of the first places that had a not good, but serviceable food. So at once upon a time, they had something for you. There's still a little bit of fun and excitement going there. The colors work. It's iconic, but it's still not great. You can do better. You don't want to stop at a 7-Eleven, but you will from time to time. You can get by at a 7-Eleven. Then we're going up. This is good. They're very serviceable. We love this gas station. If we need gas and we have to stop here, if we need a quick snack, this one's perfect to go to. The Flying J. Underrated. It's a little bit of a truck stop, but I love the good old Flying J. You give me some space to walk around, stretch my legs. Bathrooms are usually somehow clean. You wouldn't think so, but they are. Nice little stop at the Flying J. And then obviously, this is no surprise, Quick Trip leads off the top. It's the cream of the crop. It's pretty much perfection. That's where we sit right now, Kent.
I have so many issues with these rankings. I don't know, man.
This is what you get. Sorry.
Flying J is a good tier of gas station.
Oh, yeah. When was the last time you've been to a Flying J? Exactly. You don't know.
I
Busy stopping at Casey's.
Casey should be on this list.
Absolutely.
Casey should be number 3. Casey's should be number 3. And Flying J should not be on this list at Ronson Trey asking Costco gas station. We debated that one as well.
I did.
I do want can we put is this a democratic process? Can we put up a quick poll?
Already agreed upon what it is.
Can we put up a quick poll to say Flying J versus Casey's? Because I think Flying J is just the biggest miss in the history of your scale.
Sorry, I will not support Casey's on here. Casey's would be number 10 if I could possibly rank it. I think y'all are wild. Miss me with the pizzas, the breakfast pizzas and all that garbage. No, thank you. All the way out on Casey's. I left them off the scale to avoid this conversation, Kent. And now you're going to have people coming at me. This happens once every couple years. Usually our friend Chief Bearcat comes at me sideways about this. Out of here with Casey's.
You are so far out in left field right now.
We went to a Casey's and it was a very unimpressive gas station that did absolutely nothing for me. And we went there together.
You just put Flying J as our second best option here, and everyone in the world on this chat in the world, it is a unanimous right now that it is Casey's over
wrong.
Flying J.
They're wrong. People like a gas station pizza from there. Like, what are we doing?
Casey's is a great gas station. My only beef with Casey's,
everything,
is that if you are driving down the street, someone's saying Wawa's here. Wawa's isn't really local to Casey. That's why. Maddie Lane, you are insane, says Aaron Goldsberry. My only issue with Casey's, the only issue I have with Casey's is you're driving down the street and you look to your right. You're looking for gas, right? You see the gas station, and the gas station says, "Oh, it's $2.64 for a gallon of gas here." No, it's like that's not the gas. It's like the E85 or whatever. It's the stuff you can't put in. And the gas that you actually put in your car, the 87's like $2.78. So it's a little false advertising-ish, but everything else, I think the pizzas are good. The donuts are good. The selection of drinks are good. Like over Flying J? Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do
bad
this.
Gas station. Love's is fine. Yeah, I didn't know that how interconnected Love's was in Kansas City. I definitely have stopped at more Flying J's than Love's. But yeah, Love's is a solid one.
I don't even want to.
Philip, you guys can riot all you want. I'm not changing this very democratic and agreed upon gas station scale. Casey's garb.
Is this man a native of KC? No, not anymore. Get him off my screen, he said.
There are 2 Flying J's in Kansas City, if I'm not mistaken.
Sophia says, should have kept burgers.
Y'all complain too much. Y'all complain too much about the food scale. Now you get the gas station scale. You get me hating on Casey's. You guys did this. This is your fault. This is your fault. Look in the mirror if you want to figure out a problem. It's you.
You know what? If you are punishing me for making fun of your food scales forever, you've won. You have punished me tremendously, and I am distraught. I am frustrated.
Good.
This list is an abomination.
You have a problem with one thing, and you want to replace it with one of the worst gas stations of all time.
My problem is I don't think Flying J, 7-Eleven, and Shell deserve to be any kind of tier other than like the lowest tier, and I think Casey should be in there somewhere. And now I think I want Costco to be number 2. If
I was including grocery stores, I had Costco as number 2, and I had Hy-Vee as number 3. But you vetoed that. We're not changing. We're changing nothing. We spent way too long explaining the scale that was objectively correct from the get-go, and like not moving on to the position at this point in time.
Well, all right. Let's try it. Let's try it. So
the early returns are not great, but guess what? Neither was the food scale.
The early returns are no one is gonna listen to this show ever again.
Let's call the reviews mixed. Let's call it mixed.
Yeah, those are not mixed.
Because of that, because of y'all's love for KC, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna take a break.
Shop Chiefs tickets and more with no fees. Plus, save big with code KCSN at ticketsforless.com, the official ticket provider of KC Sports Network.
Success in real estate takes more than vision. It takes the right financial partner. When someone takes something rundown and turns it into something great, that's called a comeback story, like Brain Group. They take distressed properties here in KC, completely rework them, and then turn them into valuable real estate. But that kind of work needs the right bank behind it. Enter Emprise Bank. They're not about cookie-cutter loans. They saw Brain Group's vision, backed them, and now they're making big moves in Kansas City real estate. Talk about your partner in possible. Emprise doesn't do one-size-fits-all financing. They invest in potential and back growth. Visit emprisebank.com/KC to learn more. Emprise Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
It's playoff time, and if you're still just watching games, then you're missing out. With Pick 6 from DraftKings, you can turn your hoops knowledge into real cash. Just make your picks, track your score, and if you hit all 6, you're looking at bigger payouts than Prize Picks flex plays. Nobody's dropping better payouts than Pick 6. Hit 6 picks, and that's 25 times your cash. And if you beat your competitor, you could be looking at a 500 times bag in your pocket. And right now, new customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry. The playoffs are on, so why not take a shot at making a little money while you're watching? Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app right now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN to play $5 and get $50 in bonus picks. Better payouts, bigger wins, only on Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Maddie Lane, where does the running back position rank on the worst scale in the history of scales, where 1 through 3 shouldn't even be in consideration? But please continue.
Listen, you need to quit pandering to the chat. They're going to say enough about the gas station scale as is. You just have to sit here and live in this world now, Kent. It's official. So just
gotta own it with you.
Quit your crying about it, okay? Yeah, where do the running backs fit on the gas station scale? Ooh, my video's a little choppy right now. Let's think about this. Well, they're not a quick trip. I don't even think they're a flying J. I think they've added some intriguing pieces that if they all hit, I think that we could definitely make a push that they are a 7-11. And like there's the Mr. Kareem Hunt connection to, something from the past that is, used to be better than it is now. So maybe it'll still work. But man, talk me out of calling them Michelle. Talk me out of calling them Michelle right now, Kent.
I can't because I think I was going to. And this is my caveat. Like, I'm not here to dunk on the running back room and say they stink and blah, 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 blah. I don't think there's like a ton of talent in the room. Like, I think there's some guys you can look at and say like maybe they can provide some juice and all that. But I also don't know how much it matters. Like if you're gonna be a shell at a position, I think this is the position to be it at, and I think it is. I think this is probably the worst position group on the team, and not to just dunk on the group in the room, but there's not top end talent. There's not a workhorse back, and the players that they've had at this on this roster, it just kind of feels like they're pieces to a cog, and the Chiefs have not prioritized this position all too much. And, I don't know if it even matters.
Yeah, I think I'm good with the shell because if I say what's the Chiefs running back room as a whole? Like what are they good at, right? What are they good at? What do they do well? Like you said, There's not necessarily a high-end talent piece, a super dynamic player. Yes, you hope that Brashard Smith can be that. Yes, you hope that Elijah Mitchell can return to form and offer that, but you don't know that, especially for this season. There is no workhorse back because we've seen Isiah Pacheco get a lot of volume, and it has not really produced anything more than kind of Jag level player, if not even slightly below in some metrics, especially if you like dive into like yards over expectation, stuff like that. So you don't have that workhorse back. You don't necessarily have a dynamic receiver. So yeah, I struggle to see what they do well. So much like a Shell gas station, like, yeah, what do you do for me? You're here out of pure necessity because I'm running on empty and I have to field something. That's what it feels like the Chiefs running back room is right now. And maybe the Chiefs and Andy Reid are okay with that, right? They tried to go get Clyde Edwards-Helaire and improve that. They tried to drag themselves up to a flying J level by taking a running back in the first round, but they just couldn't get there. It didn't work out for them because of his hip injury. And so now they're just kind of like, okay, we'll just hang out down here.
WW Deuce jumping in to say Casey's is
Y'all
better.
gotta quit. Y'all gotta quit. This is like loving some cult classic movie. It's not a good gas station.
But Flying J is?
Yes.
What's the best player at the position at the running back spot, Maddie?
The Flying J.
No, what's the best player at the position, the running back spot?
I don't know. What do you want me to say? And I think that Kareem Hunt can do the most things almost well. Like he can do the most things average, right? And so I guess him, because I do think with Pacheco, you do still have some issues in pass protection. You still do have some issues with his pacing and his vision, and he's a little more limited at what he can run. His high, like his upper ceiling, his high side on the things that he does well is higher than Kareem Hunt. So maybe you could sell me that slight uptick in dynamic ability that Pacheco has makes him overall more impactful than Kareem Hunt. But I think Hunt is just a better overall player if we're going to account for everything going down a checklist. But like, it's not a massive gap, and it's definitely not very high up there.
So I get the logic for Kareem Hunt. I think I'm just having a hard time looking at late season Kareem Hunt and wondering if he is going to be able to sustain himself over the course of the season, right? Kareem Hunt, he's on the, he's about to be on the wrong side of 30. And like, that's really difficult because he's going to turn 30 before the Chiefs' first game. And he was already pretty beat up last year, and he was struggling to sustain for the course of the season. And I look at Isiah Pacheco from 2 years ago, and I think Isiah Pacheco from 2 years ago was pretty good. 1 year removed from injury, contract year. I think it's Isiah Pacheco for me. I think Isiah Pacheco is the best player at the position for 2025. 2024, I think it was Mr. Kareem Hunt, but I think it's Isiah Pacheco for 2025. I think he's the best player at the position. It's again though, like it's tough. Like I don't think either of those guys are bell cows, and I think this is a committee approach, and I don't know how strong of a conviction I have about either of them being the best player at the position.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue one way or the other, right? Like I think I could buy in on either one of them being the best player. I don't even know if they necessarily complement each other overly well. I just think that it's whether do you want the steadiness of Kareem Hunt and the versatility, or do you want to rely on the guy that I think can provide a little bit more dynamic ability, a little bit more upside. I don't think it's a lot. Like, I think that's the thing. I want to be very clear. It's not like it's a lot. Pacheco has not been a very dynamic runner, despite the fact that he has really good long speed. But I think there's definitely more than there is with Hunt. So yeah, I think it's a little, you can figure it out.
Okay, so let's move on here. Who do you think in this running back room takes a step? Like, if you're calling your shot, who takes a step from last year to this year? It's a tricky one, but like, who do you think could take a step?
Well, here's the problem. The two guys that are in Kansas City, I don't think are the ones that I would position to take a step, right? Yeah. I don't think that Isiah Pacheco or Kareem Hunt are going to take a step forward this year. I think they're going to be much the same guy. I guess by default, to Maddie answer this, it's going to be Pacheco because he was hurt last year. So just by being healthy this year, he has to be better than what he was last year when he wasn't playing. But like, I don't think you're going to see an improvement over what 2023 Isiah Pacheco gave you, right? Like, he kind of seems like that's maybe who he is, which is a very useful second running back to come in and eat some carries. So I guess him by default, this isn't really a spot where I don't think we can talk about the new guys coming in.
I think you can a little bit, because I think Elijah Mitchell is the same logic as Isiah Pacheco taking a step from last year to this year. Elijah Mitchell didn't get a chance to play in 2024, and I think Elijah Mitchell qualifies for this category. I think there's a chance that he takes a step up from last season and is able to put together a healthy season and potentially be a meaningful contributor, right? Like, I think about Elijah Mitchell, and when you look at like what J.K. Dobbins last year, the Chiefs were in on J.K. Dobbins. They were, trying to sign him. They courted him a little bit. They brought him in for a visit. They wanted to try to dabble in the, bargain bin running back market, and they didn't wind up being able to secure his services. But the Chargers got a ton out of J.K. Dobbins for a short stretch of that season. Not even a short stretch, for a pretty good chunk of the regular season. And, I think it was interesting to see the Chiefs be so intentional about making sure they secured one of those guys in 2025. Is another guy who was, coming off of injury, had some very productive seasons in the NFL, has shown some high-level ability. Bringing him into the mix and making sure you secured him very early in the free agency process, albeit for not a lot of money. I think he's a guy that could potentially become a factor into this rotation, right? And like, I think he's a guy that can have a quality contributing year, which would be a massive improvement and a big win for this team. If the Chiefs get anything out of Elijah Mitchell at the running back spot, I think it's a big win for them. And I think there's a chance that they are able to get a little bit more explosive because of what Elijah Mitchell presents if he can come back from injury.
Can I ask a question?
I would love for you to ask a question. And if the question is, can we change the scale and get rid of Flying J? The answer is yes. But if this is not that question, I can also answer it.
It actually is maybe that question.
Okay.
How do we feel? Does this count as a gas? What about Red X? Does that get it count as a gas station?
What is Red X?
Oh man, you're not from like north of the river on the Missouri side, huh? I don't even know how to explain it. Red X is its own thing. I don't really
Are you getting bullied into considering something else? Because this is great.
I actually forgot about this. I forgot about Red X. I really did. It's kind of a general store, but they definitely have gas. They tore it down. They rebuilt it. So I'm not as familiar with the new one, but like they have everything. It's like an old version of Buc-ee's. It's just a store of everything. There's just everything in there. There's no rhyme or reason. I'm pretty sure there's like a museum thing in there. Like there's antiques in there. It's crazy.
We're gonna go back to the drawing board. I'm
not changing if it's not for Red X. I just forgot about like that gas station. That's all.
Anyway, Red X is now just a grocery store per Tucker.
Sad. Never mind. Doesn't count. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Flying J stays in there.
This is great. Okay, so give me a sleeper or a UDFA to watch at the running back spot, Maddie. Give me someone. Give me someone to watch.
Let's go with Brashard Smith, running back out of SMU. The Chiefs, take him late on day 3 in the draft. His path to playing time is very clear, especially if we talked about if Elijah Mitchell is not returning to form immediately, the Chiefs do need a dynamic player. And it's not like it's something that you must have, but when you have Isiah Pacheco, who we talked about isn't the most dynamic runner or running back, and then we have Kareem Hunt, who is definitely not the most dynamic runner, just having somebody with a little bit of speed, having somebody that if you get the ball to him in space or you block up stuff and he gets in space, he is maybe a threat to get over 10 yards on a particular touch. And so he can do that. And then I really like him as a receiver, especially early on. I think as a receiver, it's something that he can hit the ground running for the Chiefs and play right away. You can give him beyond even an intermediate level route tree for running back. You can give him legitimate routes, run it like the advanced stuff, whether you want to talk about wheel routes, you want to go goes, post, like you can run him on actual receiver routes out of the backfield or split out wide. So there's a path to playing time for him that I think could result in him seeing the field earlier than we might have expected for his draft slot, especially if Elijah Mitchell can't return to his same health.
I think when you're looking at a room and a running back room that we think is, leaving something to be desired and kind of is a little bit of a bare bones approach, right? And again, I'm not knocking the Chiefs for this approach either. I think this is one of the positions that you're okay with them maybe not having, elite talent and just having a lot of bodies and some cases capable bodies. I think that presents an opportunity for someone like Brashard Smith to sneak in there and provide some value. I don't have a ton of hope for a Keontae Ingram or Elijah Young, and I'll get back to Brashard in a second. One thing I did notice though, we didn't bring Carson Steele up once in this conversation. Now, is it because the Matt Lane brain is calling him a fullback, or are you just in the context of this conversation, you don't think he should have popped up?
What's his role? Like, what is he doing for this team? With Pacheco healthy, what were they using Carson Steele for last year when their entire running back room was healthy? Then they go and they bring back Kareem Hunt because they would rather funnel carries to him over Carson Steele. They go and add Elijah Mitchell and Brashard Smith, and not that those guys necessarily take Carson Steele's role, although maybe he had a path as a pass catcher because he is a decent pass catcher out of the backfield, but now you add two guys that you might rather use in that situation. So yeah, I don't know where his role really slots in. I don't think it's impossible that he makes the roster because they did use him as a traditional fullback some. They did use him on some short yardage carries. So like you could sell me that they don't dislike him for that role, but they didn't trust his ball security. And it's just, I don't know exactly when you say, oh no, we have to have Carson Steele on the field for this play, unless it's as a traditional fullback.
Yeah, he's a tricky one, right? And I don't know if his roster spot is secured. I don't know if the Chiefs see him as a true fullback. I don't feel like they do. It feels like, yes, they could get away with the luxury of Carson Steele playing that fullback position, but they also saw him as running back depth. And, it was a pretty, there wasn't a ton of opportunities for him in the running game. He still does have some of those limitations. He's a lot of fun, and I would love to see him be, a more impactful player at that position. But I do think I think Carson Steele's a little bit on the ropes here when it comes to his outlook and making this roster in 2025. I don't know if he's enough of a fullback to be considered that, or enough of a special teamer to be considered, a fullback rosterable player. Carson Steele is at Casey's apparently.
That's right, T. Smith. That's right. You get it. Someone gets it. Let's go. Just over the Russian breakfast pizza that's been on a roller for 24 hours.
That is not how it works. The breakfast pizza's gone well before noon. There's an AM when the last slice of pizza is gone.
Noon.
Brashard Smith provides a value in the running back room that I think, and unique traits that just there isn't enough of, that I do think he is the sleeper to watch though. And I think we all saw him, and like Maddie, I think you put a 4th round grade on him in the KCSN draft guide, 4th or 5th, somewhere in there. So like it's a player that like we think has value in a room. And when you are cobbling together a room the way that the Chiefs are, you've really got to stare at that dynamic ability that Brashard Smith possesses, and the special teams value. I don't know if you touch too much on that either, right? But like there's a little bit, there's some plus value there that could really help him, make an impact on this roster. I think Brashard Smith's a guy you're going to see him flexed out at it. I think I said this on draft day. Brashard Smith's going to be lined up and empty, right? Like he's going to be in the slot. He's going to be running, he's going to be running a route tree that no one else in that running back room can run, and giving you a little bit more juice in that room. So I do think that he's the sleeper to watch, and I think there is a chance that he winds up making this roster. So we're sitting here May 12th. There's still some running backs out there. Do you think there's any players that you think the Chiefs should add? Do you think they're good? What do you feel about this?
I mean, listen, we talked about it earlier, right? When I said, what do the Chiefs running back, like, what does it do well? The answer is not a lot, right? We couldn't come up with anything. We couldn't put our thumb on anything. We like, hey, it's kind of like Casey's. It does nothing well, right? And so then I was like, okay, well, let me look around on these free agents. Let me see if I can find somebody out there that does something well. And there's one running back out there. I don't know how much juice is left. I don't know if he's going to add a lot to the dynamic ability, but there is one running back out there that I say, hey, he can be a volume guy. You can feed him carries. And I don't think that you're going to be looking at it and say, wow, these kind of seem like a waste, or I don't know if this is worth doing. And that would obviously be Nick Chubb, formerly of the Cleveland Browns, former teammate, running mate of Mr. Kareem Hunt, right? And we don't know how healthy he is because he's obviously coming off a lot of lower body injuries, which is always scary. He's also kind of a freak, so maybe it just doesn't matter. But like, you can give him the ball, and the Chiefs are never going to do it 25 times, but the Chiefs could give him the ball 15 times, and I don't think you're going to come away saying, wow, 12 of those carries were just kind of run until there's contact and then fall down because you can't do anything else. So I could see an avenue where a guy like Nick Chubb could come in and add something to this room that they don't currently have. I don't know if I expect the Chiefs to add anything, though.
You've seen some buzz to the Chicago Bears for Nick Chubb. I'd point to just last year, you saw, a running back coming off a down year that looked like he might not have all the juice left, and maybe some questions about his abilities diminishing, go out and have a tremendous season in Baltimore. And that's, of course, Derrick Henry. I would love to see the Chiefs take a little swing here on Nick Chubb with his, recovering from injury, looks good. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be fun to see. Now, SH991 says Chubb may want too much, and that's true. Like, I think the market for Chubb would have to come down a little bit before the Chiefs were able to get interested. And yes. I could see a team like the Bears going and spending a little bit of money to try to get him. So, if contract does come into play, like, I do think that would be tricky. Outside of that, like, I think it's pretty barren, though. I think, and the Chiefs know what they're doing here. Like, they're making this decision. They feel comfortable being able to kind of get by with the running back room, roll into that shell station on empty, and be comfortable with that. But that's kind of where I think it sits at this room. And I don't know if there's a ton of things. If they get Nick Chubb, does that elevate them to a 7-11?
Yeah, I think so. I think that pushes them up to a 7-11. And you could even make the argument that if you get a healthy Nick Chubb, nice, crack that one open. If you get a healthy Nick Chubb that kind of returns back to at least like with the most recent version of him when he was healthy that we saw, you could make the case that they're knocking on the door of a Flying J, which would be the second best gas station or the second best tier, because that's what Nick Chubb can provide as like your lead back. And then your off-speed pitch that is Isiah Pacheco, who's going to come in and run 1,000 miles an hour and run his face through a brick wall, which that's a lot better skill set, I think, when you have somebody else doing the majority of the work, when you're giving all the carries and touches to somebody else kind of wearing another team down. Then Pacheco comes in for all the body blows. Oh, and then when you want a different flavor, now here comes a healthy Elijah Mitchell, or here comes Rashard Smith, and now you have somebody with actual dynamic ability on the outside. So like the 1 through 3 of that, if you get a healthy version of Nick Chubb, I could see that like really elevating up to a much higher tier than what they currently are. It would be unlikely, but I think just like right off the bat, you probably slide up to 7-11.
Fun question for you before we get out of here.
Absolutely.
All things considered, history considered with injuries, talent, diminishing talent, all that. Who leads the Chiefs in rushing in 2025?
Oh boy. I mean, it'll be Isiah Pacheco. I know he was injured last year, but like if we're just saying like, hey, a body that's not going to break down, it's probably Pacheco. Although he has been banged up a lot, and as hard as he runs, it happens. But like Kareem Hunt at this stage, he had that big interview last year where he said like, hey, like I was struggling to get off the couch after a while, and they were really feeding me the ball. It's like if we're talking to lead this team in rushing yards. Did you ask rushes or rushing yards? Sorry.
Rushing yards.
Yeah, to lead this team in yards, it's going to have to be volume because they don't have dynamic players necessarily. So you're going to have to be at the top of this team probably in touches or carries, and I think that feels like the safest bet's Pacheco.
Okay, one more question. Percent chance that Kareem Hunt is on the roster in week 1?
83%.
Sounds about right.
I think they trust him the most. I know that they really want to keep talking up Pacheco, and when Pacheco returned last year to be healthy, they kind of tried to work him in, but it really feels like they kind of trust Kareem Hunt the most. And hey, Samaje Perine's not here anymore. So like it's 3rd and 10, and I got to go make sure that Patrick Mahomes doesn't get teed off on. Who am I trusting? It isn't the rookie Brashard Smith. It's not Elijah Mitchell. I don't think, but it's possible. I don't think it's Isiah Pacheco. His when you just watch him pass pro, he's very willing. He's very into it, but like some of the reads out and some of the technique stuff has not been great early in his career. So like it feels like Kareem Hunt is the guy that you would trust in those situations without a Perine or without a Jerick McKinnon.
Or did we just find the Carson Steele path to making this roster at the buzzer?
Do you want to try? Okay. Yeah, maybe.
Bigger body back, wielding blocker.
Yeah, no,
Another
I'm
year
okay
to
with
figure
it.
out the protections.
Yeah. Fine with the big in consideration. I just think that Kareem Hunt is pretty decent at it already. So like, why recreate? But
I get it. But we'll see. This is going to be an interesting running back room. I think, weirdly enough, we're talking about this position. I think the competition on who winds up making the roster is one of the more interesting spots on the roster.
Well, who doesn't make it? How many running backs do they keep, and who doesn't make it? No, answer that. You ask me questions. I'm asking you questions.
I don't know, man. I
No?
don't
Answer.
know. 3 make it?
Okay.
I think they're going to keep a lot of offensive linemen again because, like, I think they want to keep their swings. And, Josh Simmons, like, coming back from injury, like 10, 11 offensive linemen.
How comfortable are you with Kareem Hunt at his age, Isiah Pacheco with some of the injury history, and Elijah Mitchell with that injury history, or Brashard Smith, a late day 3 rookie? Are you comfortable with 3?
No.
Okay.
But are you comfortable with 4?
Yes. Well, no, but I'm more comfortable.
Exactly. That's going to do it for this episode of the KC Laboratory. Thank you all so much for listening, watching, supporting. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll catch you later.
Shout out Flying J. Way to represent